What is up, everybody? Welcome back. And I'm actually back here in Indiana right now, sitting by the candlelight with another video for you guys. And it's interesting to me that, it feels like every single time I work hard on creating some sort of original idea for a video, it actually doesn't get as many views as just the regular Reddit readings. So that's what we're doing today. We're getting a regular Reddit reading. Although personally, I feel like the original videos that I make are actually more interesting. And I think that they're better. I think for whatever reason, these videos seem to be make more impact, it seems like, for you guys. You guys seem to comment on them and like them more and engage with them more. So here we are. This one is called Desires Are Actually Tools, Not End Goals. You don't do your techniques like SATs, affirmations, visualizations, etc. to get the desires. You use these techniques with your desires to be in the state of the wish fulfilled. You use them to shift your awareness to your being fulfilled. That's why a lot of us get so frustrated, wondering why our desires don't appear immediately in the 3D, even if we've done everything right. Because we are looking at things with a wrong perspective/awareness. E.g., I desire a new job because perhaps my current job does not give me the satisfaction I'm looking for. In reality, we are never lacking satisfaction. We are just the awareness of the lack of satisfaction. And when we do SATs, we create the scene of the new job. Not for the sake of getting a new job, but to give ourselves the satisfaction from that new job. And now we are putting ourselves in the awareness of satisfaction in our career. P.S. You will definitely get the job exactly as you wanted it. We are never in lack as individual expressions of I am. It's just a matter of what we are focusing our awareness on. That's why creating the scene as detailed as possible is not too important. For as long as the intention to shift your awareness is there, like Neville says, the feeling is the secret. Not the image or visuals itself. Creation is finished. You don't need to try to create. You just need a consistent and persistent shift in awareness. I am has infinite potential within, and the 3D is responsive to the state of awareness you are in. When Neville says to give it to yourselves now, he's talking about awareness, the feeling, not the materialization of the desire. Because all of your desires will manifest, but your state, you can manifest all the things in the world, but if you continue to be in the awareness of lack, you will never be fulfilled. And so, we've heard this before, right? This actually sounds very similar to posts that I've read on this subreddit before. But I have something to add to this today. And so people are talking about in the comments, you have to access the state now. It's within you right here. The state is the ultimate goal. The manifestation is a byproduct of that state. And I agree with this. And I have a new way of looking at this that I'm going to bring to your attention. And I've been listening on audiobook. I love audiobooks. I'm a big reader. I always have been. Ever since I was really in college is when I started going down this kind of self-help, learning about the law of attraction, but also just learning about everything that I could in order to better myself. So I would learn about diet. I did deep dives into, what types of foods are going to make me feel better, are going to be the best for my body, the best nutrition. And I've been doing this stuff for a long time. In fact, I've been fasting, intermittent fasting, eliminating processed foods, stuff that you've heard about a lot, probably, if you pay attention to food, longevity, even fitness. You probably have heard these things. But for me, I'd been hearing and learning about this as many as over 10 years ago. And it's funny that my stepmom now paid a trainer thousands of dollars who basically told her the exact same stuff that I've been doing and saying for, like I said, years now, over 10 years at this point, that she and a lot of other people would kind of just make fun of and be like, oh, what are you doing? You're not eating anything. Or you won't eat these things that we made, like all this pasta, all this mac and cheese, all this super, super processed stuff. Christmas dinner is just pastries, rolls filled with cheese and pepperoni and all this stuff that is not contributing positively to you. Separate tangent. The point being, there is a lot more to bettering ourselves and becoming that version of ourselves, that ideal version of ourselves, than just Neville's teachings or just manifestation teachings. There's so much that goes into it. And I really do believe in this more well-rounded approach. I believe in a lot of things. There's a lot of things that go into it. Managing your time, actually doing, what are you spending your time on? Because it goes hand in hand with Neville's teachings. If you're paying attention to the information you're receiving, if you're taking in a bunch of BS type food or a bunch of BS news media outlet, it's going to affect your consciousness. You're going to then be affected. Your energy is going to reflect back all that stuff that if you're taking in stuff that's not good, that's what your output is more likely to be. It really can be no other way. It's kind of like universal laws. The universal law of attraction and the law of assumption. You might want to argue that, oh yeah, I can just sit there and eat pizza and ice cream all day long and maybe I won't gain any weight. Maybe there's people that do that, but do you not think that you'll have more success being healthier if you start paying attention? There's ways to prepare food, to prepare pizza, to prepare even ice cream. I have a creamy, which my girlfriend and I, we will make this like protein ice cream that has no sugar in it. And that's something that we're very passionate about. She makes muffins that have no sugar in them. We made them for her family members. Her family members suffer from diabetes. There is just so much out there that we have at our disposal to take our life into our own hands rather than allowing the world around us, the 3D, to like basically just be led by the 3D, be in constant reactivity to it. So you're asking me right now, what does all this have to do with Neville and this post right here? Well, like I said, I've recently been reading this book called The Courage to Be Disliked. Why am I reading this book? The reason I read it initially is because I'm putting out music. I also, as you well know, I put out content on YouTube. I am a creative person. I feel the desire within me to create music, art of various forms. I have that ebook that I put out here, and I'm interested in publishing books as well in an audiobook format as well as other formats. On Amazon, releasing my books. I have a lot of interest in a lot of being a creator rather than a consumer. I think that is a passion of mine that I have always had, and now with the ability of the internet, it's very amazing that I can create a book, put it out on Amazon, and actually get viewership for it, actually get feedback, actually have people see it and hear about it rather than the old days. You had to go to a publisher and you had to get approved and you had to do all this stuff and proofreading, and it took a lot of capital and time and energy and investment to get a book, and then you don't even know if it's going to get sold anywhere, right? You don't even know if people are going to actually read it. And now we have so many opportunities as creative people to create and put it out into the world. And that brings me to the point that I'm making about this, right? This post is all about the idea is being in the state, right? And we've heard it a million times. The feeling is a secret. The state is what you want, right? The outer manifestation of your goal, whatever it may be, whether it's money or a partner or whatever, is the 3D, is the reflection of that state, right? That's what Neville teaches. That is what a lot of manifestation conversations revolve around in these manifestation communities, is how to get into that state, how to get into that feeling. That's why we have SATs. That's why we have scripting, visualizing, affirming. We have all these different tools, and that is pretty much the end goal of these tools, right? So, The Courage to Be Disliked. Like I said, I read it initially because I'm wondering, how can I put out all this content in the world and still feel good, even if I get haters, even if I have people that don't like it? When you create things, when you do things in the world tends to react. A lot of the time you'll have people that love what you do, but you also get a lot of the people that come out of the woodwork are these people that hate you for it or hate the content that you're putting out a lot of the time because they wish that they were doing the same. And that's why you have haters, right? Talked about that in my recent video that I just posted. But how is it that we are able to maintain this feeling of the state of the wish fulfilled when the 3D is showing us examples of the state not being fulfilled? Oh, now we've got haters. How do we not react to the 3D? How do we not react to upload a video and it gets no views, or publish our book and nobody cares, right? And this book, The Courage to Be Disliked, is based on Adlerian psychology. And this type of psychology, this philosophy on life, proposes that unlike what we've been taught, unlike what we've been raised to believe, which is that, yes, like, we have emotions and that is reactions to situations around us, it's actually very much in line with what Neville teaches. And there's even neuroscience to back this up. There is a book by, what is her name here? I was just writing about this. Jane Feldman, I believe it is. But it is called How the Mind Works. And it talks about, from a scientific perspective, that really what's going on when we have these emotions is that the emotions are actually constructed by our brain or created by our brain as a way of interpreting what's going on around us. And there's research that's been done into this that actually come to find out that what Neville is saying is, like, the state does come first. And you see this happen all the time, that people run into weird situations, right? Certain people are able to take that and turn it around and use it as inspiration for their greatest comeback. That is why I put that video out, the greatest comeback. How do you have the greatest comeback of your life? How do you transmute those negative life circumstances, those negative situations, into a strength, into a positive? Napoleon Hill says that the biggest challenges that we face are often carry the seeds of the greatest benefit with them. I can pull up this video here, because within the video that I posted, I have some of those quotes. But all of that is to say that it depends on the lens through which we're seeing a circumstance arise, right? So if we look at something that negative that has happened to us, and we say, oh, actually, you know what? This is actually an opportunity. This is an opportunity for growth. This is an opportunity for me to remain emotionally detached from the situation, to not flare up and have this angered reaction. And now we're able to choose how we want to respond to this, rather than being in that state of reactivity where we just, like I said, allow our emotions to lead us. We lose control over reality. That is when we lose control over ourselves and therefore our reality. So yeah, Lisa Feldman, there's a book called How Emotions Are Made. That is the neuroscientist that I was mentioning earlier. And the quote from Napoleon Hill is, within every adversity, every heartbreak, every failure carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. And then again, that is the silver lining. That is making lemons into lemonade. That is turning lead into gold. That is alchemy. That is true, what they would call in the Kabbalion, being an alchemist and being a true, I guess, somebody who is capable, like a magician. There's these archetypes. There's another book called The King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, talking about various archetypes that there are. But if you have that ability, it means that you are then able to transform situations around you. And I have that video too about using humor and about how to get rid of negative thoughts, like how to actually get rid of intrusive thoughts. And a lot of it has to do with that transmuting the thought. Like, how can I take this, turn it into something humorous, laugh at it, brush by it, brush it aside, because it's not informing my narrative. And a lot of these shows, I've been watching Peaky Blinders. There's also The Blacklist, and I've mentioned these shows, I think, in previous videos, but these characters like Raymond Reddington and Tommy Shelby are able to take things that happen or things that people say to them and completely, they don't even accept it as part of their narrative. And that's what Neville's talking about here, is being in that state of the wish fulfilled. They don't even, it's so wrong or not fitting inside their worldview that they don't even, it's like they don't even notice it almost. They have a fixed attention, selective attention on things that are working out towards them, that are working in their favor. And you can see through these shows, you can kind of see the way that their mind operates, because our body is essentially our subconscious mind. And when you see the way that they carry themselves and how unaffected they are by these outer circumstances, these 3D external events, you're like, wow, like that. So that's how it's done. That's how this is accomplished, to ignore the 3D, like it's talked about in manifesting. And the interesting thing about this book, like I said, The Courage to be Disliked, is that it proposes, like I said, we create these emotions or these things that are almost a way out of us taking on the challenges of life. And so one example that he gives in the show is there's a girl that says she has a blushing problem. But the blushing problem has arisen because she has a crush on this guy in class or whatever, and she doesn't actually want to go and talk to him. She doesn't actually want to go and put herself out there for the fear of rejection. So she's created this blushing problem. And if she were to go talk to him, there would be no need for her to have created this emotion of being scared or blushing or whatever. And the idea being that once you embrace the fact that every new moment is a fresh moment, every new moment has a freshness to it, then you can adopt that state. You can lean into that state. You don't have to carry around this story, like in this example of, oh, well, I have this problem. I have a blushing problem. Or I have a fear of speaking to the opposite sex. Or I have I'm just not good at social interactions. I'm just not good socially. I've just never been. So if you carry that around with you, you see how that story begins to fulfill itself. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so Adlerian psychology, and in this book, some of the points that are made are that, everybody has different life tasks, and your task is to simply do. And what Neville would say is occupying the state. But let's be real. If you are occupying the state of the person that, and let's just take a general approach here, that is great with the opposite sex, or you are occupying the state of somebody that is great socially, then you would go and talk to that guy. Let's say if you're that girl. You would, all of a sudden, the blushing problem would be a thing of the past. It'd be like, oh yeah, maybe at one point I thought I blushed too much or something. But now that you're occupying this state, you're going to be like, oh, what's up? Or like, oh, hello, like talk to the person that you felt like talking to, because you're the type of person that does what you want to do. You're the type of person that's confident. You're courageous. You adopt this state. And a lot of the time it can just be a general state like this where, look, yeah, everybody loves me. And that's why I've talked about this in videos on robotic affirming. That's one way to get there. Using robotic affirming. Yeah, everybody loves me. I'm just extremely likable. Like every time I go anywhere, people just treat me extremely well. Like people just love me. People love my energy. People love like me and my friends. Like every time we go anywhere, we're always having a good time. The life of the party. Everyone wants to be around us. They just want a piece of the action because we're just having the time of our lives. We're just living it up. It's all a party over here, right? And you start to really get that going as a rhythm in your body, because again, the body is the subconscious mind. Now it becomes a rhythm, and it's taking on a life of its own, that you have this energy about you, and people will start responding positively to you once you start really feeling like this, feeling this energy, being in this new state. And so what can we learn from a lot of these other books, a lot of books on psychology, books on neuroscience, books on all of these different topics, is to re-ingrain from different viewpoints the stuff that we learn about when we read about Neville, or when we read about different manifestation gurus. Maybe it's Joseph Murphy, or you're watching videos from Sammy Ingram, or whoever it is. There's so many other angles to this. There's so many other ways that you can a daily, take in positive information that's reinforcing everything that you've learned through learning about this type of content, and use it to just enforce and reinforce it. Now you have science to back it up. Now you have this way of psychology to back this up. And like I said, I just have an appreciation for different types of teachings, different types of material, because I think it all goes hand in hand. Again, coming back to the healthy eating right, just fueling your body with the right things. It only makes sense to me that you would want to do the same thing for your body, your physical body, which, like it or not, you are a spiritual being, but you're also a physical being on this planet. And this is your house, this body, that you would also want to take care of your house the same way that you don't want to take care, you don't want to let your house get dilapidated and there's mold growing and it's just festering, right, in your house, in your home. You want to imagine you want to allow your imagination and your awareness to be focused on beautiful things, on doing the right thing, on being a contributor to society. And that's another thing that he proposes in this book, The Courage to Be Disliked. That is one way that we get fulfillment, is by, like, I guess the contributor to society can kind of maybe ruffle some feathers or make it sound like it's too, I don't know, like charitable or disingenuous by wanting to be this good person that's always doing things for other people. But to be honest, if you look at your own life, when you've looked back at situations where you're only in for something for yourself, what feels better, doing that or also creating like a win-win situation where, yeah, you get a benefit, but also you get to benefit those around you. You get to benefit your friends or your family, or even, like I said, at large, the planet Earth. And in my experience, I think that creating those win-win situations actually feels the best. It's actually the most fulfilling, and it actually makes you feel good. Even coming at this from a selfish perspective, that oftentimes feels better than if you're going around always searching for, oh, what can this person do for me type of attitude. So there's many different things that can be learned from really anywhere. And if you adopt this kind of thinking where you're open to different ideas and you like to connect the dots, bridge the gaps, oh, well, how does this actually make sense with this other thing that I'm learning? I think you'll find a lot of value in it. And I just want to bring this up. It's been on my mind. I'm actually planning on doing an entire book breakdown of this book, The Courage to Be Disliked. And let me know if you guys be interested, but I'm going to do it probably regardless, because I think it's an extremely insightful and valuable book, as are many books that I've read. Somebody asked me also recently my top 5 self-development books, to do a video on that. So I might be doing that as well. But really, I guess this is just an invitation to, you can check out the Neville subreddit, watch these videos, watch content that you enjoy watching, but be open to these other types of ideas as well, because a lot of the time, all that it will do is serve to reinforce what it is that you've learned. Or when you have more examples of something, now it enhances your understanding of it. It enhances your understanding. So anyways, I think I probably covered just about everything. Turned out to be quite a bit of a longer video than I anticipated, but I really think that a lot of the value that comes from learning and understanding the stuff that Neville talks about, or the stuff that any of these manifestation people talk about, comes with a more holistic approach. And I've mentioned this before. There's a girl on YouTube named Davey, and she's kind of gotten popularity talking about science and manifestation and psychology. And I really think, again, Dylan James, I've mentioned him before, he talks about psychology too. He's studied psychology. When you are able to bridge these different lines of thinking and different schools of thoughts together, you really get a deeper and more balanced perspective than living in these subreddit type things, only on manifesting, only consuming that type of content. It becomes, an echo chamber where everyone's saying the same stuff and just kind of telling you more of what you want to hear. Like, don't do anything, don't lift a finger, just stay there. It's like, okay, like, we get it. We understand this is one approach. I understand that's an approach of thing. But it's not the way to live life, guys. You want to be an action-taking person in this world. You only have so much time on this earth. Let's live it to the fullest. Let's really dive into this life that we're given and try to understand all types of different things. If we're the type of people that want to better ourselves, let's really take a comprehensive examination at all facets of our life and see how we can improve on multiple facets at a time and in multiple ways, not just singularly by practicing visualization or scripting or whatever it is. There's so many different ways to improve the quality of our life. Anyways, guys, I don't want to beat it to death any more than I did. Hopefully this helps you guys out as we get started into the new year. It gives you some inspiration to kind of take a look at the big picture. And there's another thing I saw recently in the 12-week year. And I think it's pretty fascinating because I think there's a lot of value into breaking. It talks about how you break your year up into quarters, and looking at each quarter of your year. I think a lot can be accomplished in a year when you kind of break it apart. And same thing like I do with the time management or the chunking of my day. Breaking your year up into different groups and having those big overarching goals for each part of the year can be extremely valuable. So I'm excited, guys. I hope you guys are excited too. I can feel, at the beginning of the year, there's all this energy where everyone wants to make these improvements. And so with that being said, I wish you guys the best of luck. And I'm going to be coming out with more consistent content on here that will help you as well to reach those goals that you have. And anyways, much love as always. Drop me a like if you have not done so already, and also hit the subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video.